Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Wallisa and I am a medical doctor. Today I have a really exciting topic for you, and that is aging. In particular, the one ingredient in your cupboard that's actually accelerating your aging. Yes, you heard me, accelerating your aging. If you're interested to find out what I'm talking about and what you can do about it, then be sure to watch the video to the end.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night beneath the mistletoe. It's cold outside, 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 outside. It's cold outside, outside.
Today's video is going to address three big points. One, what that ingredient is. Two, a little bit of the science behind how this ingredient can have such a big impact on our lives, in particular our aging. And finally, ways in which you can reduce this ingredient in your everyday life. Okay guys, before we get into this topic, let's first talk about aging. Everyone would agree that aging is a pretty big topic. So much so that in 2018, the anti-aging aspect of the cosmetic industry was valued at $38 billion. In 2026, it's predicted that the value of this industry is going to grow to a whopping $60 billion. Come on, guys, we're dropping our coins on these products. Instead, we should be looking to reduce our aging process, especially if there's something in our diet that we can cut out altogether or reduce that would slow down our aging. So that's what I want to focus on today. The search for an anti-aging solution is nothing new to the 21st century. We've seen historians document about the search for the fountain of youth since 425 BCE. We've had alchemists try to create an elixir of life. We've had countess that have bathed in the blood of young virgins with the hope of reversing signs of aging. We've injected growth hormone. Then there was the Renaissance, where there was this shift away from looking at old age as a pathological state. Instead, they promoted pro-longevity, in which the goal was to live a long and healthy life. That was a time where old age was seen as something to be valued, because it was only then in which you would have accumulated enough experience to truly value life and appreciate life. However, with the turn of the 20th century, we went back to this thinking, this ideology that old age was a pathological state based on certain dysfunction and decline we saw in brain health, in cell health. So it brings us here once again where we're searching for that anti-aging solution. So this is nothing new. We have been on the search for it, and I think I might just have found it. Okay guys, so you've listened to me talk about the cost of the cosmetic industry, a little history lesson, and I know you've just been saying, girl, get to the point. Okay, so drum roll please. So the ingredient that actually acts, or I should say one of the ingredients I'm going to address today that accelerates your aging is sugar. Yep, I said it, sugar. And when I say sugar, to make matters worse, I'm not only talking about your refined sugar. I'm also addressing fructose. Yeah. Fructose is a simple sugar that's derived from fruits. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. I know it sounds really bad, and I know you're thinking, well, I guess I'm just going to have to grow wrinkly. There's things that you can actually do to lessen the impact of sugar on your skin if you are a sugar addict. So now that we've addressed sugar, let's talk a little, before we go into what you can do, let's talk a little bit about the skin and how sugar is able to have such an impact on our aging. Let's talk a little bit about the skin. While the skin is glorified for its aesthetics, the skin actually does a lot more than just looks good. It's the largest organ of the human body. It's involved in functions such as a physical barrier against the external environment. It helps regarding the production of vitamin D. It acts in the immune system, and also it's a key part of the temperature regulation of our body, among many other functions. But today, I'm actually going to focus on its more less vital function, and that is its aesthetics. To understand how sugar impacts the skin, we first need to understand a little bit about the structure of the skin. The skin is made up of 3 layers, known as the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. In the dermis, you find a lot of collagen, and elastin, which is produced by cells known as your fibroblasts. It is the collagen that acts as a structural framework to your skin, and it's what keeps it looking firm and plump, as you're familiar with in young skin. So what is the difference between young skin and old skin? Young skin basically has more collagen. As you age, unfortunately, the production of collagen reduces. Additionally, the body's ability to repair collagen also reduces. And with time, it is this depletion of collagen that leads to wrinkling in addition to sagging of skin. With that said, there's going to be a few factors in which we cannot do anything about, such as our age. As I alluded to earlier, there's a natural decline that occurs regarding the production of collagen as we age. Our ethnicity, I hope to touch on this in another video. And finally, your genetics. The reality is, some people do age a lot slower than others because their decline in collagen is slower. However, let's say you've drawn the lucky straw and you engage in a lot of practices that are going to damage your collagen, then it doesn't matter what your genetics is. Likewise, if you're accelerating your aging, genetics, while it's important, it's not what's leading to your rapidly accelerating changes with regards to lines and sagging. So yeah, I think it's just like a really interesting point for us to intervene and make a difference. Now that we understand collagen and its natural decline as we age, it's time for us to address sugar. When our blood sugar levels are too high, it leads to a deposition of sugar in multiple organs around the body, including the skin, the eyes, the kidneys, and the nerves. It is this deposition of sugar that leads to the formation of a covalent bond with sugar and a molecule, either protein or lipids, via a process known as glycation. And this is a permanent bond that's formed. It is this permanent bond that changes the structure, and especially with regards to collagen, it makes it defective, and it also makes it almost impossible to repair. Therefore, you can see the issue with regards to collagen. It further accelerates the process of abnormal collagen that cannot be repaired by the body. And instead, it leads to what is known as the sugar sag, where you have development of more wrinkles and sagging than you would have had if your diet was not rich in sugars. Okay guys, so after my history lesson, histology lesson, physiology lesson, it's time to get to the practical aspect of this video. And now that we understand how sugar affects our aging, the big question I guess everyone has, okay, what can we do? I know a lot of people cutting out sugar seems impossible, but my number one is going to be significantly reducing or completely cutting out, if you're up to the challenge, sugar in your diet. As I said, the high sugar levels in the body is the problem. And if you can reduce the amount of refined sugars, then that you will help your aging process so much. And something I did not mention, you could say, okay, maybe I damaged that collagen, but my body will eventually replace it. Collagen has a really long half-life. it lasts about 15 years. So that's why prevention is going to be way more better than cure. Currently, there's no cure as far as we're aware, or there's no reversal of this process to date. So that's why prevention is key, because whatever damage you've done has been done, and you're just gonna have to live with it for the next 15 years until your body is able to replace that collagen that has been damaged. Okay, so you might say, okay, fine, I can reduce my refined sugar, but what about fruits? And I think this is a really fair question. I would never say to completely cut fruits out of the diet, because while we are worried about our aging, the reality is fruits are still rich in a lot of micronutrients and just antioxidants based on the fruit we're addressing. And it's just a lot of overall benefits that I would never say completely cut fruits out. But what you can do, there are certain spices that have been shown to have a reduction in this glycation process, and these include cinnamon, allspices, and nutmeg. So my advice on what I have started to do, I add cinnamon to everything. I just sprinkle that bad boy on, because as I said, prevention is going to be better than cure. That takes us to number 2. I don't know if some of you have picked up already, but we have to mention carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, which is sugar in the body. So with regards to your consumption of carbohydrates, you want to go for your low glycemic, I'll say low to medium glycemic index food versus your high glycemic index food. What these are going to do, they're going to cause a slower release of insulin, which would lead to a more slower release of glucose. And so with regards to spiking your blood sugar level, it's going to be a smaller peak. It's going to be a more gradual, smaller peak than the ones that go whoop. Okay guys, moving on. That takes us to number 3. And that's going to be exercise. Exercise is great because it leads to a 50-fold increase in the uptake of glucose from the blood. And as I mentioned, the issue is when you have too high blood glucose level or blood sugar level, that's when it tends to deposit. But if you're utilizing that blood sugar, then by all means. And what exercise does, it leads to uptake of that glucose into the muscles as it's used for energy. So definitely what I would recommend with that, if you want to eat your fruits, you want to eat your carbs, then it's better to eat it before you exercise, because then you know that while your blood sugar level is going to increase, exercise is then going to lead to it being uptaken into the muscles rather than it lingering and depositing in your skin and other organs. So win-win. That brings me to my 4th and final preventative measure. This is not the final one, but it's the final one I choose to address today. And I'm going to go with collagen supplementation. And the reason that I want to touch on this topic is that there's a lot of products on the market. A lot of people, we're spending a lot of money. And I've also been in this trap of spending money on products, and I know it can be costly. So I just wanted to touch on topical versus ingested collagen supplementation. So far, research hasn't shown much benefit with regards to using topical collagen for our skin actually. It is better, and preliminary research has been promising regarding the use of collagen supplementation. So if you are looking to supplement your diet with regards to collagen, then I would definitely say get some collagen supplements. And I'm actually going to try a vegan collagen supplement just because most of the research talks about non-vegan options. So I'm kind of excited to see if using a non-vegan option would have an impact on my skin. Okay guys, so if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for rocking with me. If you've enjoyed the content, if you've learned something from me today, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I'm going to be dropping more gems with regards to aging, healthy living. You know, that's what I'm all about. Leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Are you going to cut sugar out of your life? What measures you're going to take out of everything I mentioned? Are you going to try some way to improve your collagen? Yeah, it'd be really nice to hear from you. Ask any question. I know I have dropped a lot of information in this video, so let me know if there's anything that you want me to clarify, or just what topics do you want to hear regarding health and aging and so on. Yeah, so thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.